behind y'all. Hook in the IV.
All right, I'm streaming, so no screaming, no screaming racial epithets.
Oh, never.
Only behind closed doors, Jason.
What
was I fixing to say? Oh, dude, I'm still waiting on Diet Coke to sponsor me as an athlete.
Dude, how do you drink
Cowards.
Diet Coke? Diet Coke is so nasty.
Dude, I drink it because it's easier than going through the whole dance at a restaurant
You
of being like,
realize
hey.
they make Coke Zero now that tastes almost just like a regular Coke.
So my go-to is actually Pepsi Max. Like, that's the best drink. But whenever I'm at a restaurant, I don't want to have to go through all that. Hey, do you have Coke or Pepsi products? Cool. Do you have Coke Zero? No? Okay, then I'll take a Diet Coke. I'll just say Diet Coke. That's how I drink it.
So you're just lazy is all it is.
No, I'm not lazy. I just skip to the point because chances are they're not going to have what I want. So I'm just going to order a Diet Coke.
Okay.
I just get water because they're not going to have my cream soda. I only have cream soda. Love me a cream soda.
Cream soda is on top, dude. Cream soda is actually really delicious.
This is good show content, so let's save all this for the show. All right.
Agreed.
If you say so, Jason.
All right.
Well, you're the boss.
Get this started. I think you can hear you'll be able to hear the opening song now, so we'll see. If not, then you're
your first job as a guest is to give us your opinion on our theme song.
Oh, good.
All right. Okay. So you guys
it's ready? Really bad. Spoiler alert. It's horrible, dude.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Just drop that ass, bitch. It's open micers in the house. Pop that pussy with that open micers logo in your mouth. Jason with his bald ass head. Jacob looking in bed. It's open micers, bitch. Heard what I said. Drop that ass. Open micers in the house. Drop that ass, pop that pussy. Open micers in the house. Open micers in the house. Open micers is a mouse. Drop that ass, pop that pussy. Open micers in the house. The mic is now open.
Yes, sir. The mic is, of course, open. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig. As always, shout out to Mark Simmons, the writer of that new acoustic version of our theme song. And also, as we're doing this episode, I realized that I forgot to call him when I got home. So he's currently expecting a call from me.
Why?
Well, because we're supposed to talk about some business stuff or whatever. We'll see about maybe calling him live on air. We'll see what happens. But
okay.
First order of business here is I need to introduce our fabulous guest. It's been way too long for us to have this guy on. We were supposed to have him on before, I think, scheduling conflicts, whatever. We finally made it happen, dude. He's finally here. He is, if not the funniest person on the Pensacola comedy scene, definitely in the top 5. He's been doing it for such a long time. He is one of the forefathers of Florida comedy in my mind. He's the one, the only, Queen Daddy himself, Andrew Ferrara. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, buddy. I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. What did you think of our theme song? Did you like it? Okay. Did you hate it? How was it?
Let me tell you, I have to talk about it in segments because there are, it's really quite the sonata. There's a lot going on. I feel like the first movement, I wasn't with it yet. It was a little chaotic, the first movement, but when we get into that moment where you say Jason's bald ass head, that part, there's a little switch in like the tone of the song, and you're like, oh wait, okay, something heroic's happening here in a moment somehow. The way this sounded, and then I was taken off guard by how much pussy's in it. A lot of pussy, yeah. But you know what? I really did like the dropping of the ass. I always like it when you drop ass. And
makes sense.
And I say that the very end, that ending, it really brought me into a space where I knew I was about to be on a podcast. and I and and it really it made me feel like it was a kind of drop the mic moment. Really, I visualized the podcast singing this song. Personification of the podcast, and it just like dropped the mic, but almost the mic just slowly dropped. Real slowly, and everyone stepped back out of the light, and we all sat down together and took a big sigh of relief that no one got hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the ending is also my favorite part because it's over. Because there's no more song to be had.
I like it.
I think you guys need to give it more credit.
It's a jaunty little tune. I like it.
Hold on. Can we just dissect this part while we're dissecting it? Because Mark, for whatever reason, always tries to throw in the joke, OpenMicers. He says OpenMicers is a mouse. Is that funny? Because I don't get it.
Uh-huh. So I hate any comedy where you have to like think about how something's written. Because I hate literacy. I don't like I don't like to read. So if you're gonna say OpenMicers, I'm gonna think that we're really opening. It sounds like when you have to fucking dissect a mouse in school.
Yeah.
And that is unpleasant. And so is an open mic sometimes.
Well, see, I spelled the podcast open micers, MIC''ERS, so that people wouldn't look at it and be like, Micers? What are Micers? But when you have a domain name, you can't put an apostrophe in there. So the domain is open micers with no apostrophe.
He tries this joke very often. When I was a guest on his now defunct podcast, it was he made that joke several times about us dissecting mice.
It is just an odd visual, open micers. I think it also could be though that you're micers, Oh, my father was a micer, and my grandfather was a micer, and what did we do? We knew a mouse. That's all we knew were mice. And we maybe like mice farmers for people, because you have to farm those little mice for the cobras, and because people love to have reptiles for some reason. You need to have a farm for the mice that they eat.
You know what it makes me think of? Micer, the Mouser from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They're like the little mechanical mice things. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah.
I want to kick one of those.
Andrew, we have you at 7:30 at night on a Monday. How high are you right now?
Only on let's decide together.
Let's decide together.
Okay.
How the rest of this
at least he did it before the podcast and didn't go buy weed on the podcast like some comedians.
That's impressive.
On here.
Dude, it's happened.
I will also say it's Delta 8. So
dude, Delta 8 will get you white girl wasted.
It's so strange. Like, why is this sold at a gas station?
It'll get you so high, dude. It's really the truth. It'll mess you up.
It's so strange. It's gonna have long-term effects. I know it. It's not. What can it do?
Yeah, or it's gonna start blowing up in people's pockets like the Samsung phones did for a minute.
You know what? If that does happen to me, that's just 4th of July in my pocket. That's fun. That's something different to happen in your day that doesn't happen to everybody.
Just releasing the vapors for the nearby children to enjoy.
Exactly. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how high am I, Jacob?
Oh, I have to decide?
Well, you're one of the decision makers, so obviously.
I would say you're at probably a 6, because I can clock it, but you're still behaving normally.
Okay, he's on to something, Jason. Your thoughts?
I was gonna say you seem to me you're kind of mellow, so you're at that good 6 or 7, right there, right before you get to the point where you can't Like you'll be talking and in the middle of a sentence, you'll just completely forget what you're talking about. Like you're right before that.
We'll get there.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. So we're gonna say that's a good. If you're saying 6 or 7, you're saying 6. We're sitting somewhere in that. I'm gonna go with 6.6. 6.6 feels right.
6.66.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. We don't do that. We only go 6.6.
666. And
it's
Mark,
like edging for the devil.
Mark is in the chat room and asks this says, does this mean you're back from school, Jacob? LOL.
Yeah, I was supposed to call him when I got back to school, and I was telling Jason about the day I had. I completely freaking forgot until we started talking about him on this podcast, and I was like, "Oh crap, dude! I didn't even text him back. I'm so sorry."
Hey, here's the thing. There's no reason to tell anyone where you are at any moment. You don't gotta say what you're doing. You're at school. Psh, who cares? You're at Walmart, maybe.
You're so right, Andrew. You're so right. I think that Mark is an agent of the government trying to triangulate my location.
Sometimes I think I'm MK Ultra. We'll find out.
I've heard a lot about MK Ultra. So refresh my memory because I listen to a lot of weird supernatural.
It's Mortal Kombat Ultra Edition.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's a very good game that they played in the 50s. It's the first Mortal Kombat where they gave everybody a bunch of drugs. Well, voluntarily. And then used it to try and research mind control and telepathy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think maybe I was there in the 50s.
Do you think if you do something like that now that you can trip backwards to where you did do it in the 50s and that's how you were able to do it now? It just creates a time loop.
So I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can trip backwards. I think you can, envision the past. There is this documentary called Third Eye Spies that is phenomenal about what is it? Location the mind location shit. Where it's like, you can see where something is without knowing.
Oh, like ESP or whatever.
Echolocation.
Yeah, some sort of they use it to find,
Echo the Dolphin.
Carter used it to find a plane that crashed in Africa back in the day, and it was basically just some guy who was able to see where the plane was, even though he wasn't there.
Do you think that maybe he ate his twin in the womb or something, and that his twin, because he has that extra life force, do you think that maybe he can astral project harder than we maybe can?
Well, here's the thing. Since he ate the twin in the womb, that twin is currently just astral projected wherever he wants it to be. And he can see through the eyes of the twin. And the twin could go through any dimensional layer of that place and time. So you want to see, this room, this bedroom in 1954? Let's go. You want to see this bedroom in 1962? Let's go. Let's see what happens. You want to fuck it up tonight? Let's go see what happened in 1975. What do you want to do?
I want to see that bedroom in 1969, dude. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Dude, 1969? Oh, shit. Oh, I wish I ate my twin in the womb now.
Yeah, dude, 69 style. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude. Yes, we were eating each other in the womb. Oh.
Andrew, speaking of MK Ultra, who is your Mortal Kombat main character? Who do you main in Mortal Kombat? He's thinking really hard.
I was just thinking because
thinking so hard.
Mark in the chat room says, I think the earlier 6 rating needs to be revised. I was just thinking, I think Andrew definitely has moved up to 7.5, almost to an 8 at this point.
What? It can happen? Oh no. I didn't realize it could happen when you're not even doing it. Okay, so I'm going to go with rating.
Okay, respectable. A little bit OP'd, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, well, I liked his hat when I was a little kid. I really liked his hat. And I always liked anyone who had anything to do with electricity for some reason. I was always Blanca and Street Fighter. So.
Yeah. Jason, who's your Mortal Kombat main, dude?
Baraka.
Oh, you cheap bastard. You even look like Baraka.
I like Baraka because he's the easiest moveset to learn. And
you press any button and he just flurries endlessly.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's why I like playing him, because he's a total troll.
I play as Johnny Cage because he can nut shot people. And that's what I would do in the Mortal Kombat. That's what I would do in the tournament, dude. I'd hit the splits on you, and then I'd uppercut to the nuts.
You can't play with him now because of the writer's strike and Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Johnny Cage is an actor. He's actually on strike from the Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah, if you try to put in Mortal Kombat right now, you can't even select him.
Mm-mm. I feel like he would be the one to cross the picket lines, though.
Oh, see,
because he's such a
if
bad.
If you challenged him to, he would.
Right. I feel like he would just he would phase across the lines.
And Johnny Cage, you can do it.
What'd you guys think of the Mortal Kombat movie that came out a few years ago?
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Dude, he killed Goro for character development.
Good. I never liked Goro. I was scared of Goro as a kid. Thought it was ugly.
Too many arms.
Thought it was not okay. Why should I look at this ugly thing? Why are we looking at it?
I think about that every time I host this podcast with Jason Robbins.
Thanks.
It's like, let me see your other arms. Let me see your other arms.
I still like the original. What?
Andrew's fading fast over here, dude. We need to get to some questions before he's just gone.
So last time I saw you was a few years ago, right before you moved. I think you went to New York for a while. What was that like?
Oh, I hate that place. I mean, it was all right. I lived in Spanish Harlem, and it was cool. In the morning, you wake up to like really fun Spanish music, and
it's like In the Heights.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then at night, like it was just so right across the street from my apartment. There was a bodega where they played like craps and stuff outside of, and it was always super rowdy till way late. And sometimes it was fun, see like who's winning, but it got to a point where it got so loud, and it was scary. There was clearly a very important match often happening right then when I'm trying to go to bed. Perhaps. But I felt safe sometimes. That's good. But no, I enjoyed being in New York for the shows were great. You could go to one day I went to we did 6 mics in a day and just go back to back, and you can basically just perfect a 5-minute bit by just doing it over and over again in one day. And it was fun in some aspects, but then they don't pay you anything when you do. I mean, sometimes they pay you a little bit, but nothing for these club shows for the most part. Like they're throwing you $20, which is hard to get used to after this. It's funny to see that the Southeast pays so much better. They respect comedy so much more because I guess I don't know, there's not much to do in the Southeast, and comedy is one of the entertainments that they're willing to come see. But they were fun shows, really packed at Broadway Comedy Club. Every time was really good. But yeah, fun times.
Yeah.
But it was just, I got there. It was funny. I had gotten a job. I was so stoked. And then it turned out, like, when I got there, it was not what I thought it was going to be. It was like door-to-door sales for Verizon. And it was like this completely different company. It was supposed to be a social media manager position. And then it was like, all right, everybody, suit up. And we got there. And it's like a blizzard basically that day as well. And it was like, suit up, we go door to door today. And I was like, what is going on? And it turned out to be commission sales for Verizon, door to door, during Omicron broke out. It was like the funniest and worst thing to possibly happen was that job. And then I had to get a job. I was working for these people who own a karaoke bar where you have your own karaoke room. And it was above another karaoke bar, and they wanted me to like go out on the streets and like get people inside and make sure they don't go into that karaoke bar. That's literally, you know how hard it is to get people to just walk up a flight of stairs to do karaoke at this other karaoke bar. Like my job was like to be like, oh no, you're going to this karaoke bar, walk up those stairs, see what you think. Like it was weird. It was a weird job. But yeah.
So how long did you stay there altogether?
I was there for just 3 months. I did not enjoy it. And also just, yeah, it's not fun having to pay to go to an open mic, to do a little bit of time and, 20 people go ahead of you because no one knows who you are either, and they don't give a damn if they're putting anyone else ahead of you. So that was never fun. So you could do 6 open mics in a day, which you would do sometimes, but you are, was 10, 20, you're paying anywhere from $30 to $50 to do,
Jesus.
6 comedy spots that day. So yeah, it was a fun experience, just hustling, going from one place to the next and all that. But there wasn't the same community where after the open mic, you get to talk to each other and talk about each other's sets and bullshit together. It was, once someone got off stage, they went to the next place, and it was sad because I would watch a whole mic, it'd be like, ooh, and then after go outside, smoke a cigarette, and be like, oh, none of those people are here. They're gone. So it was a weird vibe, What can you do?
I think
so were most of the mics that you went to, were they pay to play mics or bringer shows?
So the mics were almost all pay to play. There was hardly any free mics at all.
That's insane.
That you can find. So you'd pay anywhere. Some mics were just $3, but some mics were $5 or $7. And there were a whole bunch of there's a lot of predatory people up there that'll try and get you to do these shows, these bringer shows that are they'll spring it on you, be like, okay, yeah, you can be on this show, you're on this one. It's like, all right, you have to get 6 people to buy this $30 ticket.
Oh no, dude, not $30.
It's crazy stuff like that where they're just charging a wild ticket price and telling people they have to get their, they need to get their people so they can get on stage, and then you're not getting paid much of anything after you've gone and put in any work like that. So it's a lot of people just, they kind of, that when you first start comedy and your friends are always coming out to open mics to see you, they're kind of just leeching off of that, being like, oh, we can put this person who's done 2 open mics on a show at the club and it'll be good because they'll bring 5 to 10 people, and that's what we care about right now.
Yeah.
So it was weird. So there were some shows that you would be on if you got booked on, but you could tell some people were told they could only be on it if to bring people. So there was one at the what was it? Stand Up Live, New York, and there was just a couple people that you'd be like, there's no way they've done comedy in their life, and they're on the same show that you got booked for, and you're like, oh, I was so excited to be here, but you're just using this show to make money off of all of us, and that was it. But there's some shows, were good. That there's some really cool people up there that are amazing comedians that would put on some shows that were great too. But mostly, any of the club shows were just like they just want to make money off of you, and that's it. There's nothing, and they'd say it's the opportunity to be seen and everything, but it was honestly, it's tourists. There was just tourists at most of the shows. They were packed shows, but it's tourists. Like it's not like you're seeing anyone's coming in and seeing you and noticing you, really. But it was still a fun experience in general.
So basically what you're saying is if you want to make a career as a comedian, don't go to New York.
Yeah, it's like a good boot camp. It's like if you want to go right and like really push yourself to just perform repetitively to like, get your like figure out your voice, or to just completely take, go to New York for a couple months or a few weeks and just hit a bunch of mics with something you want to really work on. And it's good. It's something good to go experience, but living there doesn't make any sense. I don't feel like, because it's expensive to live up there at all. And then, on top of this whole paying for mics and stupid stuff, every little thing has to be paid for. So, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth going to visit, seeing it all, doing it, and grinding it for a minute just to enjoy it. But otherwise, it's not a place to.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a big part of a lot of comedians' journeys too. Like we talked to Sam Talent not too long ago, and so he started in open mics in Denver or whatever, which is he's doing smaller shows there, and then he moves to a big city in Vegas. And in Vegas, he hates it. He doesn't like the comedy scene there. He's borderline failing. And then he just starts going on the road with all of the credits and skills that he's accrued. It's almost like you have to move to a big city and fail before you can do what it actually means to succeed, which is just hitting the road, being funny,
exactly,
like having these legit credits.
You completely realize in that moment that you were missing the road, because like I had gone, I'd been traveling throughout the Southeast for years and went on tour with Hillary Begley, cross country and back and everything. And that was such a joyful time, that tour. And just remembering that. And then I thought, I felt like it would be a really joyful experience living in New York and doing that thing, but there wasn't joy in comedy there to me, I just kept thinking, like, man, it was good to just be in a home base and drive, I missed that, even though I did enjoy being on the bus and stuff, and the bus and the train and everything. That was always fun. There was always lots of cool characters. But
Andrew, were you maybe one of those characters?
I was
on the train.
You know what? Sometimes I think some people might have thought I was a character.
Yeah.
But it was mostly because I was scoping out other characters, so they probably were freaked out by me scoping out characters. I'm just a character scavenger. I'm trying to find out where they at.
Yeah. No, I get it. Andrew, stop me if this is a sore subject and you don't want to talk about it, but
Ooh,
I remember when you moved to New York and you had done something for the Wendy Williams show that I don't think came to fruition the way you wanted it to. Explain the situation of what happened there to me.
Super hilarious, honestly. Okay, so I was really stoked because we were, someone had messaged me who was one of the people who got me on the shows at Broadway Comedy Club. And they said that to send my video to this one person, this producer for Wendy Williams show, because they were looking for a gay comedian to come on. And I was like, oh shit.
That's me. That's two things I am.
This is me. And so I send my stuff to them, and I get message back, and it's like, sweet, we want you, be here this day, this time. So, and wear something sparkly or, something, loud. It's like, all right, hell yeah, let's do this. So I go, Olivia's with me because Olivia and I were on a little mini tour of New York at the time. And then Natasha Ferrier and Ethan McFall, who used to be Tennessee comics who live in New York now, they all came with me. Because they said people could come to watch and everything. And so I get there, and we were like, started getting all these instructions that like we were basically cast to be on these stupid little vignettes, like these game show vignettes for Wendy Williams, when they made it seem like I was going to be a comedian on Wendy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then it was just like this weird game show type bit where me and Olivia were like having to guess celebrities based, and like I was holding the picture but I couldn't see it, and she was describing the celebrity to me or whatever. And Wendy Williams also, after filming all of this, never showed up for the shoot. And this was the video of her very first episode of the season, and she went nuts. And went, that she went to rehab again, and she just did not show up for the shoot. And so Wendy Williams didn't even like happen anymore.
Wow.
So the whole show stopped. It's not even like yours didn't air. It's just the whole show ended.
Exactly. They started putting other people in, and everything from the first what they filmed with me and Olivia just got cut completely. And
wow.
And so it was weird. And then they just had like Lisa Remini was like now guest hosting the Wendy Williams show.
Yeah, I remember when Nick Cannon did it.
That happened at some point, but Lisa Remini was the first Wendy. So that was super ridiculous. My face did end up on the Sherry Shepherd show though.
What happened there?
Basically I was a mole in for the production staff, where I was supposed to rile people up with people thinking that I was supposed to be a fan. I was a plant, like as if I was planted to be Sherry Shepherd's like number one fan, basically. And they're just like, we need you to have like this crazy reaction. We want you to like get really loud so that all these other people who are here like get loud. I felt like I was the mole. I felt like I was on that show, The Mole, And I was like, all right. So they were like, production would come and be like, just so you know, this is what you need to do. Just do this, do that. So there's like this video of me on the Sherry Shepherd show where I have like this big old O face. It's like, ooh, because I had to have the big reaction to Sherry showing up, so that everyone else would freak out.
I always kind of assumed that they did that, but I never like got confirmation.
Oh yeah.
How many of you were there? Was it just you, or were there multiples?
So there was me, and then my friend Danny Rydell, who's a comedian who was from Philadelphia. She lives in New York now. So me and her were there together doing it, and we were the moles. And then they cut this one scene. There was another one. They told us what to say and stuff. Where it's like, hey, okay, that we're gonna have her come interact with you, and they cut the one thing they asked me to say, which was terrible. I'm happy they cut it. It was when Sherry comes up, she's gonna come from behind and tap you on the shoulder, and you have to act like crazy shocked and surprised to see her, and then tell her that you're part of the flock.
Okay.
Because she's a shepherd.
So I did that. And that did not make it. But then they also made me go dance by a street performer dancer. And I was supposed to be dancing behind it and get like super excited when they do something. Yeah, so they just plan out all this stuff with certain people, and then other people are just fans who were on the street that day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super hilarious.
Weird.
So it's almost like a comedy competition when someone like brings 50 of their friends and be like, guys, you have to laugh at everything I say and be really excited and cheer for me. But at the highest level possible.
That would be, you know what? If they ask me to do another one ever again, I'm just going to be like, oh, can I bring anybody? And then just bring so many people and just overwhelm it. And be like, we love Sherry Shepherd.
We're the flock.
Oh, we are the flock. Because it's just going to be like I'm Bray Wyatt rolling in.
Dude, you just all dressed like sheep. Like, we are the flock.
That would be fun, actually. Let's get some sheep outfits. You ready?
I'm ready.
You want to sheep up?
Yeah, dude. You straight Sertas. Let's do it. You know the Serta sheep? The mattress?
I wish I had a Serta mattress. I always wanted to because those sheep were pretty cool.
I want to see you two sheep up. This would be a good Patreon video to see you two.
Yeah, let's just dress as sheep and just do random tasks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just be the flock.
I like this idea. I mean, but someone should have to be shepherding us. Like, we're being forced to do certain tasks.
Sherry Shepherd.
That we don't want it to.
Yeah.
But there's a shepherd shepherding us to do that. And we'll tell everyone it's Sherry Shepherd. And we're possessed by this.
But dude, are we about to film an adult movie together?
Well, yes, and it's gonna start with this is for Sherry, you know, and we should make the adult film and only send it to Sherry Shepherd.
Absolutely, dude. You'll see me shed just one heterosexual tear as my personality is forever gone from my body. And I sold it to be a part of the flock for Sherry Shepherd.
Exactly. That's all you want. You were the sheep boy. You know, that'd be fun. Sheep boy. Someone out there would want to watch you be a sheep boy. Jason does. So.
Jason does.
I'm good.
Jason, you look like the Elmer Fudd to my sheepdog.
Looks like Elmer Dud.
Oh,
wow!
You look like Elmer Glue, dude. You're so white and pasty, and you taste bad.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm not going to dispute you there.
Andrew's like, back up, dude.
It tastes good. Tastes good and smells good.
Andrew. Okay,
Jason must, if you're calling him that.
Andrew, I feel like we haven't even gotten to any like open micers questions that we're supposed to ask you.
Yeah, let's do it.
So describe your first time doing comedy to me. When did you first do comedy? What was the journey like to getting on stage for the first time?
So the first time I did comedy, I saw a sign at UWF, the University of West Florida.
Woo!
That was for an open mic, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh snap! This is my time to try it," because I loved comedy. I always watched Last Comic Standing because I also loved reality TV show competitions and still do. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna spend the week before this open mic happens and write out a comedy set. And I did, and I got there super early to sign up first, and I'm so stoked. And I get on stage and I do my comedy bit, and like my friends were there, they were laughing, and this other table was laughing, but the rest of the tables looked super confused about what was going on. And it turns out it was an all music open mic. And I was unaware because it looked like a comedy flyer to me. But like, okay. And so that was so that was embarrassing. And so I didn't do comedy again for 10 years.
Damn.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I didn't
back
do
up.
it until
So 10 years after, how old were you at this time?
I was 18 or 19, 18, 19.
So you didn't get back into it until 28 or 29 years old.
Yeah, I was 28.
Whoa.
Because,
Dude, you are doing way better than Jason is.
Yeah, I like to tell everybody I'm 24.
Yeah, I would ID you if you tried to buy beer from me.
People always do. You know,
nice,
I think it's that Italian olive oil skin, you know. You can taste it if you get close enough to the screen.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying to taste it right now.
You can taste.
So Andrew, okay, so 10 years after your first open mic, you rediscover comedy at 28. How does your first real performance at a comedy venue go?
I was very drunk, and I was at the very end of the mic at Back Porch Bar and Grill. At the time, it was the Big Easy Tavern in the basement of the Days Inn lobby. That was also a swingers bar that I'm sure if you've ever spoken to anyone who's been in the Pensacola comedy scene for a while, that was the only place to do comedy here for like 10 years. And yeah, it was a swingers bar in a basement. But no one was really still in the bar. Everyone was outside smoking cigarettes on the back porch. And I think there was only 3 different people in the bar. And I did a joke about being a chinchilla, like, trapper. How there's, you know, because chinchilla is a very, very expensive fur. And that means there's someone out there who's like risking their lives trapping chinchillas so they can make that big money, you know, that blood diamond chinchilla money, you know?
And how did this joke go over? Did it receive well?
I mean, it was literally, I think it was Olivia, Cersei, and Jess Bright, and 2 people who weren't paying attention in the room. So I'm sure it went great. You know, I'd say it did. You know, I can't imagine it being good. I do remember just like doing some crazy. I was just going like, that was like my whole thing was like I was doing chinchilla calls, and I was like, it couldn't have been good, but we'll say it was because no one can remember it.
I don't think you can remember it, Andrew.
I'm remembering it as best as I possibly can.
Okay, so you're in comedy for a few years now. How do you make the jump from being a performer to being a producer for Yikes Comedy?
So basically, when the pandemic and lockdown was all going down, you know, all the comedy ended. Back Porch was the one place we were doing comedy at, and that place never opened back up. It got shut down during lockdown, never came back. And so I was always just kind of on social media as we were during lockdown, and I noticed in the Pensacola events page, people were asking about stand-up comedy and what happened to it, because stuff had reopened, and there were a bunch of places that had like outdoor space that they wanted, new entertainment. And this one brewery, Emerald Republic, had said, we'd like to start doing comedy in Pensacola. And a bunch of people started being like, oh, we'd love that. We'd love that. And I just saw that thread. And I was like, well, feel like I need to jump on it, because if we let a bar start it up without having like the comedians involved that had built the scene for years and years, like I didn't want us to lose, the comic side of it. I felt like we spent a long time getting Back Porch to a place where we had totally packed out rooms. That was again, this is a Days Inn bar, and it would be packed out, and we lost that. And so I just contacted them, and I said I would host it, and it was an outdoor stage at Emerald Republic, and needed to find a name, and I liked rhymes, so I was like, Yikes Open Mic, because Yikes and Mike. I was so happy about that. And we just started doing that. It was October of 2020. It was a weekly mic. And eventually, that was the first thing back from the lockdown, but it got hit by some sort of weird cyclone. And it was the only thing in Pensacola to get hit by it. And
oh, no.
Wrath of God.
So about, I think it's 6 months into having that comedy back in Pensacola, we lost that open mic because it got hit by a tornado.
God hates open mics, dude.
Yeah, for real. Well, there's something we call the curse of the king, because someone was banned from the open mic the week before it happened, and he's a known Satanist. Like he said, he tells people he's a Satanist. We think he may have put a curse on the brewery.
Okay.
Yeah, his name's Michael King. I love the guy, honestly. But
I love him, but this is why he's been cursing us with.
He is like a super villain. Like, I love the guy. But he said some really some stuff that was just a little intense on stage, and the audience booed him out of this off stage, and someone brought me a $50 bill to ban him from the mic.
Oh, he's banned now for
and
life.
I was just like, fuck it, okay. And
that's such a pro baller move to just ban someone for life for $50.
Hey, here's the thing, like, literally, I had never seen someone get booed because these mics, when we got back from lockdown, we were getting 80 people because it was this big outdoor area, 80 audience members, and they were all booing.
Yeah,
booing. And people were pissed off at some of the things he said. He said some shit about like fucking a baby and stuff. Like it was like, okay, I see where this is going. And then
first of all, I'm sorry.
Made a joke. I was like, if someone has
babies and pull it off, but yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do a joke about that, it's got to be well written.
Well, I can tell you the exact joke. It was, what's the difference between what was it? Laundry. What was it? Doing laundry, I think it is, and a baby. Yeah. Do you know what the difference is between doing laundry and a baby?
No.
Well, when the washing machine doesn't cry when you drop a load in it.
Oh no, dude. I could have told you it was bad from the beginning setup of what's the difference between.
Yeah. Yep. So that was the one that really got the crowd. Well, they were already booing beforehand, and
Dude,
when they were really booing then.
Does it say something about my ego to think that I could do that joke and get a laugh?
See, he has always said that he's like he calls himself the comedy anarchist. Okay. And his goal is to completely bomb and offend everyone. He doesn't even want to get laughs. He wants it to be horrible so that the next comedian has to work to get the crowd back. And he seems to feel that is totally fine. And that he should have that right to do that. And so it was getting to a point where it was like it would ruin a perfectly good mic when he would get up on stage. And then that mic was the night that it all kind of came to a head.
So he has a very rare form of autism.
You know what? It's the type that you love a little bit, though. You know, you're like,
okay.
You're like,
is he free? Can we get him on this podcast?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'd love to come on. Honestly,
and ruin our show.
Yeah, maybe.
Can we do that?
No, he is a good dude. I think everybody. So everyone was scared of him. Everyone like felt like there were people who were thinking like, oh, we think he's gonna shoot up an open mic, and which was just crazy. It was almost like this mythology grew within the Pensacola comedy community that this guy was insane, when really he was just doing some bullshit, honestly, on stage. That's all it was. He was just being kind of a dick, and that was it. But there was a lot of some things happened. And then when he was banned, of course, the place got hit by a tornado. So everybody felt that he did it because he's a Satanist and he probably summoned it. And it makes sense to me.
Well, I will try my best to contact him and get him on the podcast ASAP.
Michael King, man. He's something else. He's been banned from a lot of different mics, actually. He's someone you should talk to. He's been banned from some of Ryan Pfeiffer's stuff, Olivia Delicia's, some stuff in Mobile. He's like running up a toll, you know.
Well, that brings us full circle back to the supernatural.
Yes, he could be MK Ultra. Ooh,
for real.
But Andrew, it's been great having you on, buddy. We need to be heading for the door, man.
Already?
Yeah, dude. I feel like we've barely talked and it's been an hour.
What? No way, a whole hour?
Yeah. You're aware it's been an hour, right?
Dude, I think this is what happened. You know, we were talking about that astral projection. I think that maybe I did eat my twin in the womb, and we just astral projected into like an hour into the future somehow.
I think that maybe we did. I also found Michael King on Facebook. I'm friending him now. We'll see. We'll see how this progresses in our relationship.
Yeah, I'd be happy to come back with him if you need to facilitate. You know, I know he's something else, man. He's got a power to him.
That'd be fantastic, so that we don't get hit by tornadoes.
Yeah.
But
I don't need Andrew getting hit by a tornado anytime soon. I've already got enough bad luck.
Yeah.
So people don't realize there is a whole mythology out there of Michael King that you can learn about, and I hope you do bring him on.
We will, dude. We'll bring you back with them. In the meantime, though, tell everyone where they can find you online, what you've got coming up, and everything they need to know about Yikes Comedy.
If you can find me online, you are the best sleuth. No one can find me. No one. Okay, no. You can find me at Instagram, Funny AF Comedian, and then on TikTok and X, Funny AF Comedy. And just come hang out. Yikes Comedy Night on Instagram as well. Follow that. We have our next show at Vinyl Music Hall on August 26th with Dave Stone. I'm
Love 'em.
super stoked. And then we've got Raina Cahill coming in from Huntsville to open for him, as well as John Strickland from Tallahassee. And then we got a couple locals opening up, Gail Misunderstood and Andy Redding. So it's going to be a fun group. I love that show. Vinyl Music Hall is amazing. We didn't even get to talk about vinyl. I can't believe we made a whole hour.
Wow.
Well, I love y'all.
Yeah, we opted to talk about dressing up like sheep and making love to each other instead of Vinyl Music Hall. But
you know, sometimes that happens.
That's a choice I'd make 10 times out of 10, Andrew.
Oh, I can't wait for us to get those sheep outfits. I hope that they're very fluffy. Are we furries now?
I think that we are. I think I've come full circle as a character that's been developed.
I'm so happy. I've told you I was out there collecting characters.
You found one, dude. You collected
I got one.
You unlocked
I got one. That's the whole reason why I came here today. Thank
like
you
Pokemon.
for allowing me to collect you.
It's like Pokemon.
You're welcome.
You got to collect them all.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
dude,
love
I'm
it.
freaking Bidoof over here.
No, I think I'm Bidoof. Let's be honest at the moment.
Well, what about you, Jacob? What you got? You got anything coming up?
Yeah, dude. September 16th. There's a show that I can't tell you about. I don't tell you about this show September 16th in Ocean Springs. I don't tell you about it. I'm on it, but I can't tell you about this show September 16th at an undisclosed location in Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
I wonder
Don't tell
where
comedy.
that could be.
Yeah. And also I'm going to be on Stone vs. Drunk vs. Sober October I think it's 6. I think that's also 16th. Alabama Music Box. I'm going to be on Team Drunk. Let's get it, boy.
Nice. You got this.
Well, Andrew, it was nice having you on the show, man. Dude, it's been too long since I've seen you, and hopefully we get to see each other soon in person again. Because it's been too long. Been way too
I know.
long.
It's been a really long time. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Like it. We'll figure this out.
Get together and sheep
I'll
up.
astral project to you sometime soon.
We'll get together. We'll all three of us. We'll sheep up. And go do some sheeping.
I can't wait to sheep up. You know, I'm about to sheep up and ship out. I can't wait.
Sheep up with the herd.
We're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
The flock.
The flock, whatever, dude. It doesn't matter at this point, does it?
Everything matters.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, man. We'll have you back, and hopefully we can have that Satanist guy on, and that sounds interesting. We can have you on for that.
Yes.
But thank you for hanging out with us, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you want to email us at OpenMicersPodcast@gmail.com. You can go to our Linktree/OpenMicersPodcast. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at OpenMicers, at JFunktastic, at Jacob C. Craig, and at Jacob Craig Comedy. And that's going to do it for this week. So thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we will see you all next week.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Do we get to hear the song again? I want to hear that song again.
No, we're never listening to it ever again. We're not doing it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching on YouTube, and we will see you all.